When I think about the Sunday after Labor Day, I think about all the different names that we've given it the Sunday over the years. It might have been Rally Day. Maybe we called it Homecoming Sunday, or maybe it's Kickoff Sunday because of the football season. But regardless of all that, we usually do this a day once the school year gets back in session. We all kind of have that pivot, that fall pivot we do, realizing that schedules change from the summer. And once we go post-Labor Day, and that things are now going to be different. We're trying to get our kids back in a schedule. We're trying to get them in bed a little bit earlier. Grandparents are encouraging their kids to do homework, trying to be supportive of mom and dad. And so all this is going on. And I'm like, well, we're in the middle of a pandemic. What do we call this traditional Rally Day, Kickoff Sunday, or Homecoming Sunday? I mean, that doesn't feel like it fits this year. For me, this is Wake Up Sunday. We're waking up today. It's not only a new day, it's a new week, and it's a new school year. And like I told our kids, we don't know what this whole day or this whole school year is going to bring for us as a church family. But what I do know is that we're waking up right now, and we know for this first part of the day, we're going to be doing Sunday school virtually. We're going to be doing preschool virtually. We're going to be doing confirmation virtually. And so we're also going to be doing adult ed virtually. And so does that mean it's going to be that way for the whole day? Who knows? But what I do know is, like our school year, there's a lot of unknowns out there yet. But in the midst of that, we still continue to be community, like I told our kids. And we continue to be God's people, even in this moment. And you know what? I don't know how it is for you at your house, but do you feel like there's people in your lives that need forgiveness? I mean, think about it for a minute. I'm sure that in my house, there's some forgiveness that's needed at times. And I think about maybe that forgiveness is even with ourselves. It might be a spouse. It might be one of our kids. It could be the neighbor next door. It could be a coworker. It could be a very strained relationship. But you know what? Forgiveness is at play as God's people. And on this Wake Up Sunday, Joseph woke up to a new day. He woke up for his brothers to approach him. They were seeking his forgiveness. They wronged Joseph in a very bad way. They were mad at Joseph. They were upset at Joseph because Joseph had this dream. He was a dreamer. Had this dream about one day his brothers would bow down and worship him. And so as little Joseph told his brothers his dream, they get all mad and ornery and upset. They sell him as a slave. He ends up in a pit. From the pit, he goes to prison. From prison, he eventually ends up at the palace. But that was a strained relationship. It wasn't a new day for Joseph and his family for a long, long time. There are many, many words and sentences and paragraphs and chapters that lay out the story of Joseph and his brothers and how that relationship was falling through their fingers and just falling apart. But one thing Joseph was able to do is he woke up one day and he was able to realize his brothers were coming to him not only to seek his forgiveness, but more importantly, for him to be able to name what they did, to name his hurt, and to begin to try to do something different. Richard Rohr says, forgiveness is to let go of our hope for a different past. Think about that. Forgiveness is about letting go of our hope for a different past. Joseph was a dreamer. Joseph had a destiny. And Joseph, in his story of how his brothers wronged him and tried to kill him, very easily could have let history write itself in an unforgiving way that way. And forgiveness isn't about not remembering it or pretending it never happened. No. He needed to name it with his brothers as he did. But the thing that's important is that not only does Joseph name it, but he realizes that his history isn't just about his experience of what his brothers did to him. He also realizes that his history included God, and that God was a part of that history for a purpose, because not only was Joseph a dreamer, he had a destiny, but when you have a dream and a destiny, as Christopher Davis says in his commentary work, there's drama with that. And of course, this is a soap opera drama of bros in a family where there's some resentment and hate, and they are out to get him bad. But they come seeking forgiveness. They even tell Joseph, you know what? We'll be your slaves. But Joseph says this: am I in the place of God? Even though you intended to do me harm, you see, he named it. God intended it for good, in order to preserve a numerous people, as he is doing today. So have no fear. I myself will provide for you and your little ones. So have no fear. I myself will provide for you and your little ones. Wow. I gotta tell you, Richard Rohr, in talking about forgiveness in one of his devotions, says, you know, mere counting and mere ledger keeping are not the way of the gospel. Mere counting and mere ledger keeping, like merit, are not the way of the gospel. Dave Deppy, who was a seminary professor of mine when I was at LSTC a long time ago, you know, we were told that when we preach, we have to have a little law and a little gospel, or a little law and grace mixed in. And he said one time, don't ever worry about having too much grace when you preach. And he said, because God's grace is offensive, because there's so much of it. And today, you know, as we gather together on this Wake Up Sunday, you know, we're waking up to a new relationship and forgiveness. And you know what? There might be some people we need to go and seek their forgiveness and maybe hear what they need to name with us. There might be some people that maybe it's with ourselves, that we need to become brutally honest in order to forgive ourselves. But the one thing that Joseph did not do when his brothers came to him, he did not rewind the history. He did not replay the history. He did not repay the history, as Christopher Davis says in his commentary, because he knew that God had a destiny for his life. As you know, we're in COVID. As you know, it's Wake Up Sunday. And we don't know what this whole day is going to bring us, or this whole school year. But we can dream. We have a destiny like Joseph had, that God has in store for us. And even though we might feel like we're in the pit or we're in prison, we're still waiting to get back to our palace called the physical building of First United Lutheran Church. God has a plan. And you and I, we're a part of it. Together, let's wake up to a new Sunday. And even though we don't know all what today brings, we know that God is alive in and among us, forgiving, loving, encouraging us for the destiny God has in store for each of us.